Hello, hello. I hope you are doing fine. So I'll be giving you around 5 minutes for that to join so that we kickstart. So I'll give those who are yet to join a couple of minutes so that we can kickstart this particular call. Yeah, we'll be resuming at start at around 906, which is the equivalent to 606. So once at least people join, then I'll kickstart. Yeah, so welcome everybody. Uh, so if you're active there, you can type on the chat if you can hear me. Maybe a good evening. Yes, I can see Moi SC 8412. So good morning to you. Okay, so okay, I'm just going to start. I'm not going to wait anymore. So those who will be joining us, they'll find us maybe having this particular call of today. Yeah, so today we'll be talking about Azure AI Foundry. Okay, I hope I can be heard. I just want to confirm that everybody can hear me clearly so that we don't have any problem with the mic. Okay, thank you. If I can be heard, thank you for the help. Today we'll be talking about Azure AI Foundry. So Azure AI Foundry, it has been there, and we'll be looking at a lot in Azure AI Foundry. So basically, it will be AI related. So Azure AI Foundry is just a Microsoft platform where we can create AI agents, and these AI agents we can use them for different purposes. We can use them to help us in hospitals, in education sector, and so on and so forth. And with Azure AI Foundry, we do have different models which we can use according to our taste or whatever we would want to achieve with that. So in Azure AI Foundry, we do have Azure OpenAI service, which has a lot of stuff which we'll be looking at in just a moment. Then we also do have Azure AI Search. So this one is for indexing. So I want you to imagine like how it will be very difficult, for example, having a book with around 10,000 pages, perusing through all those particular pages, searching for a specific information. So this was made easy. Many books having now that particular index. When you check on the maybe table of content or the index, it will be very easy to locate that kind of information. So the same analogy is being used in Azure AI search, where for that particular AI agent to search for data or for the information you are looking for in that document, it will just be referring to the specific location, not just going through all the pages. So it will know which specific page to go for or to go to, and this will entirely save on time and make the retrieval of this information a bit faster. So we'll be also doing some GitHub, so but not entirely. Then we're also going to do something on monitoring. So monitoring will be essential in ensuring that we see or we know how our models are doing, how our users are using these particular models, how many tokens are being used, and how many tokens are remaining. So all these particular capabilities are all available in Azure AI Foundry. And another one will be looking for governance. So for governance is ensuring that the content are filtered so that it doesn't bring harm to those who are going to have access to these particular chatbots or agents. There is different ways we can ensure this. Like I said, content filtering, and there are also some ways to ensure that governance is upheld the very latter. So then customization, I talked about Azure AI search, then evolution. This is essential to ensure that whatever we've created is actually doing what we intended it to do. Yeah. So let's start our call for today. So just on the next slide. For our session, we'll be having 3 sessions. So for today's session will be more of introduction to Azure AI Foundry. And we'll be looking at why Azure AI Foundry matters, what is Azure AI Foundry, core components, hands-on setup, and a demo on that. So that will be for today. Then just a mention for tomorrow's session, we'll also be indulging deep diving on using large language model, that is OpenAI, what OpenAI is, and then practical use cases, and we'll be doing some basic coding and use cases in certain projects, and another demo for what we would have created at that very time. Yeah, so let's start on the first session, which is for today. So we'd want to introduce, I would want to introduce you to Azure AI Foundry. So why Azure AI project matters. So as we all know that back in 2022, I remember it's when the ChatGPT came handy and so many people were new to it, and it was a game changer by then. And I remember using it even in my education to do certain research and do certain homeworks and even cuts. So this has evolved. So by then it was just basically on generative. Generative, it means that it's only being able to generate information. You ask it a question, it answers back. But in this particular new phase, we now have the agentic AI. What I mean by agentic AI is it's not only able to generate information, but at the same time, you are able to assign it tasks. It's able to do those particular tasks. Uh, for example, a task you can assign one of those particular agents which we are going to create. You can maybe tell it that at specific time, I want you to send this email to John Doe, or at this particular time, I want you to send maybe this proposal to Jane Doe. So it will be able to do all this without us doing some monitoring, without our attention. So those are some of the automation pieces which agentic AI has as we compare it to generative AI and the era of chatbots. So we can also, chatbots, they don't do much. Whatever the instruction which was outlaid to it, it will entirely follow that. Yeah. Uh, so, uh, so Azure AI Foundry is just a Microsoft-based platform for building AI or agents. It will be chatbots, and we can also do some evaluation, as I talked about that in the very introduction of this particular call. Then deploying AI models. We have over 200 models available, which I'm going to share with you to showcase some of the models. We have GPT models. We have text embedding model, that is ADA. Uh, we also do have DeepSeek models. We also have Grok. So we have quite a number of models. So it's by your choice to choose on what you would want to use. So we can integrate OpenAI and cognitive services, machine learning models, and prompt flows. Again, on the second call, we'll be covering also about cognitive capability of Azure AI Foundry. So that is computer vision. I know there are those who would want to have access to endpoint for computer vision and keys to that so that they can use the model in their hackathon project. So we'll be looking for again speech service. There are those who want to do some translation, some transcription using speech service or speech SDK. So we're also going to provide that on our last call, which will be on Friday, so that you can start handy on working on your projects. So on the next slide. So core components. So we have projects, we'll be organizing AI assets and experiments. Then when we create this project in Azure AI Foundry, we'll be having something called AI Hubs. So this is just a workspace for teams and governance. Then we'll be having some connections. This will be for the models which we'll be creating, the endpoints and keys. Then we'll be also having something to do with prompt flow. So prompt flow is a way to make this more custom and to add more capability. And this one also a way of now exposing the agent that you've created via REST API and just implement it anywhere you'd want it to be. It could be your website, it could be your Android application, it could be a desktop application, and so on and so forth. Okay, so to get started with Azure AI Foundry, one needs to go to ai.azure.com. You create an account, but these particular models, they are not free, but we'll be providing the endpoints for this particular hackathon. So you need to request for it to be available via your subscription in Azure portal. Okay, let me just show this in action. I just uh, so for example, let me go to Azure portal. So to be able to create this particular OpenAI, Azure OpenAI or Azure AI Foundry, I can just search for a free. So you can see here from the marketplace, then you click on it. Since I had created one, I'm not going to do the same. So you can see I had created this Azure AI Foundry, but you still have the liberty of creating another one. So you can also see the AI app. So this will be containing all that you do, all your connections, and so on and so forth, all the models that you have deployed on the other side. So it's taking a bit of time to load. Let me go back to now. Once you've created that particular resource here, you'll be able to gain access to now the Azure AI Foundry portal, and this is how it looks. Like I said, we have quite a number of models. We have GPT-4, GPT-5, which is the most recent, which has a lot of capability as compared to the previous versions. We also have Grok, DeepSeek. So you have the liberty of deploying all these models and using it in in your hackathon. As we talked, you can see we have monitoring capability. These are some of the components we have in Azure AI Foundry. So you can connect it to your your insights resource so that you get real-time data, and we'll be getting something like that. I talked about you being able to see the number of tokens being sent, the remaining tokens, and the extent of grounding, how your AI is able to respond accurately to the document you have assigned it, or how is it able to answer question without much of hallucination. So again, we'll be talking about prompt flow. So not prompt flow, but prompt engineering. So prompt engineering is a way of you giving it instruction so that it do what you intend it to do. Without the instruction, the agent won't be able to actually fathom or understand what you are trying to do. So I'll also show you how you can give simple instructions to your agent so that it answers questions based on what you want it to do. So we also have this particular called going. We'll be creating some agents for today, and we'll be doing some tests. So this one will be a low code. Then from tomorrow we'll be using this in our own application. Then we can also have the main purpose for this is just getting errors, debugging your application to see the extent of or how your model is or how your application is performing. So that's basic functionality as far as is concerned. Then then we do have governance. So this is to ensure that there is security in this particular agent. For example, if I've connected my agent to a SharePoint document library, and I want certain documents to be excluded from access to unauthorized personnel within the organization, then I can do something called labeling of my document. And this one is highly aided by the use of Microsoft Purview here. So this one will help us to label our documents as highly confidential, as general documents so that anybody can access it, and so on and so forth. So these are some of the things you can do with Azure AI Foundry. Then now to go to the asset at the bottom left, we can see we can be able models and endpoints which I deploy. So I did deploy GPT 4.0. Then there is another one here. Then I deploy for text embedding. This one is to vectorize your document so that it is easy for the agent to search information using cosine and similarity. So it do use that to help you now search through your document more efficiently and very fast. It doesn't matter how many volume of documents you do have. So this is now the functionality of text embedding uh, model. To deploy a model, we can choose this particular deploy base model here. You can search for millions or over 200 models here. The one you want to choose. Then once that is loaded, maybe for example, if you want to create this model, let me take this here. Let me try G5. I don't know whether it's available. So it's the latest, still not available under my subscription. So I have to request for it to be available. So let me just take one for the demos. Let me even take GPT mini. Yeah, GPT 0.0 mini. So next, then I can make it global that in all the projecting, I'll be able to access this model. But I can decide to make it just for this particular project. So I can do some deployment. Then once you are able to, you'll get this will be essential for you to your own in your sense to. Okay, so you can see it is ready, and the good part of it, you can see we begin given certain code. We can try and test it out, but we'll be able to answer to our question. Okay, this one we can do a quick test to ensure that our model is working. But today, this one we'll be doing tomorrow. I would not want us to start much of coding today, but let's do this tomorrow in our calls, the way we can now integrate this in our own application. But all idea behind deploying this model was to show you that we have this access to this end and we'll be using this together with the key so that you are able to access this model and connect it to your own data. Again, you can also open it in VS Code. So I'll be providing all this on Friday. The endpoints, all that will be available. To my slides. So I've just shared how we can deploy a GPT model, embeddings, or vision or computer vision. But for the vision models, we'll be sharing on how we can do this tomorrow. So before I continue, I wanted to show some of the things we can achieve, which are going to actually create as we begin the tomorrow's call and the Friday's call. So one of it, or one of some of the things we are going to create. For example, this one of it. So this one is basically based on speech service. So it's a real-time translation. So I talk, then it translates what I say to maybe a specified language. So you can see here, I can do a auto detection so that it detects which language am I speaking in, or I can decide my primary language or the starter language to be English. Then maybe I translate this to any other language. So maybe I can choose Swahili. So once I initiate this particular recording, it will be able to translate what I say. So we can do just a test. The whole idea of this is just to show you or to give you much expectations on what we'll be able to achieve at the end of this particular, all these particular 3 sessions which we'll be having. So let's just do a test. So let me just create a new chat. Let me call it hackathon. Then let me create that like that. I select it. Then I want to translate from English to Swahili, which is okay, already selected. Then I can start the recording. Hello there.
Anza kurekodi. Vipi wewe?
Uh,
Anza kurekodi. Ufahamu wa kina na
I have just stopped that. I started talking after enabling the mic, so you can see, start the recording, then it was able to transcribe that. So I'm also able to hear the voice. I don't know. It's also able to talk back to me as much as it's also typing back. I can still choose a different language. Let's do Chinese. So let's try again. Hello there.
嘿，你好。
How can I create a great hackathon project?
如何創建一個出色黑客馬拉松項目？
So basically, I don't know much of Chinese, but I believe what it has typed is what it's supposed to be. So these are some of just the capabilities of the models which we are going to share at the end of this particular 3 session we'll be having, so that you can create something outstanding. So this one, it was speech based, so I used speech SDKs, the Azure Speech Service. So we'll make this available to you, so don't worry about it. Then another one which I wanted to showcase before we continue. I also have a RAG application. So RAG in full is retrieval augmented generation. So imagine I have given you that particular model, the ChatGPT model, or GPT-4 model, or 5, or the one which I'll provide. You have your own data and you want it to read from that particular data. You don't want it to get information from the World Wide Web. You can restrict it to read entirely from those particular document you have. So this will be very essential. This project will now be, okay, this one will now be covering that, a way we can make this come to life by ensuring that it answers solely on our documents. So this one, again, I'm going to share with you how you can call different APIs from different websites to make your hackathon experience or hackathon project more fun and to get more marks. You know, it will be so competitive, and having more capability in your project, I think, will be an added advantage as far as the winner or the winning criteria is concerned. So for this one, it will be just reading from your document, then answering back. And again, I've also made it read from the World Wide Web, that is the internet. So again, it is able to access my location. So when I click on this, enable my location, it will be able to access my location. You can see here, it has just accessed my location and is telling me that I'm currently in Juja, which is very true. I can ask about the weather in Juja. So what I'm trying to bring to your attention by all this is I'm using an weather API, and my agent will understand. It will call that API when I ask it to tell me about the climate or the weather in Juja after it accessing my location. So it will be able to do that. So let me try that weather today. Yeah, so you can see the weather in Juja: condition overcast cloud, which is true. It has not, it's cloudy here. And even if you check from the internet, the temperature, there is no big disparity between what we are having currently. So then the humidity, then the wind speed. So this one, it's calling a weather API. So we have open API for weather, which doesn't charge you anything. So, and they have a restriction on the number of requests you can send per minute or per hour. So you can explore all this once you get the endpoint and the keys and do just a lot of stuff. So again, I can ask general questions. I can even greet it. Then I can ask maybe how can I create a great hackathon project. Yeah, you can see it's able to generate this information basing the references on the publicly available information, that is a large language model, LLM. So it's using the publicly available information. So I can ask a lot here and it will be able to respond to that. So the part where the prompt engineering or giving the correct instruction comes to being, it's for instance, if I would want my agent not to get information from the internet, I I just want it, I solely want to restrict it to my documents. So in your instruction, you must define that clearly, that you are a helpful assistant. Your responsibility to get insights from this particular document you have access to. Do not look for information outside this particular document. Do not use the publicly available information. Use exclusively these particular documents I have provided you with. Since it is an AI model, it will follow the instruction you gave it. So it won't do something you didn't instruct it to do. So it will be basically honoring what the instructions you gave it. And again, so these are sample documents which we have here. We can be able to upload documents here and do our test. So all this will be building together from tomorrow. So in case somebody has a question from the extent we've gone, then you can post it in the chat and I'll be able to respond to that. Yeah, so let's get back to the slide. Okay, so basically this next slide was on now creating a chat completion model and testing it in the playground. So I had created a model from the Azure AI Foundry. I want us to do some tests on our model. So let me dive back to the AI Foundry uh, website or portal. Since this is the model I had created, let me get here at the models and endpoint, and let me choose, let me refresh. Yeah, it has just appeared. So this is the model I created. I select it like this. Then once I've selected it, I open it like that. Then I can try to open in Playground. I test my model. So let me open just test it. So I can try maybe to say hi to my newly deployed model. You can see it has been able to respond to me. I can maybe ask who is the current president, okay, in the USA. So you can see this model was only trained until October 2023. So that's why at the beginning I was saying we do have GPT-5, which has the latest information. So you can see it's still saying Joe Biden, which is not true. So it is only trained to 2023. So this is also a key consideration when choosing a model. You must ensure this particular model is up to date. It has up to date information. So it is very correct because it's saying very well that as from my last updation, which was October 2023, the current president is Joe Biden, which is very true. So these are what we are able to do. So I want us to go a step further and do some ingestion, add some data to our newly created models here, add a data source, and I just want to upload a document. So I just want to upload a file. Okay, let me not use that option. Okay, I want us to use a different option. So this one was just for testing our agent. I want for testing our model. Now I want to create an agent, and I want it to be connected to this model I created, the GPT-4o Mini. So what I'll do, I'll go to the Agents tab here. Agent. So this is the agent I've just created. Then I'll try it in Playground to test it whether it's working as expected. But before that, you can see a deployment. I would want to choose the model which we deployed together. So GPT 4.1. So that model, that will be my primary model. Then I try it in the playground. I can still do similar tests we did on the model side. So let me just do a test. Maybe a simple hi. You can see. So we want one step ahead to add our own data. I want it to read from the hackathon handbook which we had. I believe everyone is having access to, and let's see whether it will be able to accurately answer questions from the hackathon handbook. So let me add some. So I'll go to files. I'll do a local upload, then choose some file. I'll choose for this file here, which is a docx. docx. Then it will be creating this vector embeddings itself so that it is easy for the agent to be able to read information from it. Once that is done, I can just click on upload and save. So some minutes. Yeah, so you can see in my knowledge, which is the document I've given it, we can see the file is right here. So I can try to ask a question here in this particular file. So let's open together on handbook. So we can see it like we can see it here. So maybe I can ask a question about tell me about this particular hackathon, this particular document. So let's get back here and ask this question. Summarize the hackathon. Summarize this, the hackathon document. Let's see whether it will be able to read from this file. It will look for, you can see it based its response from that particular document we added. You can see it's even giving us, it's giving, okay, I had chosen a slide instead of the handbook. So let me remove, I'll remove the one which I just added. I add the correct one. So I didn't add the correct knowledge base. So let me just do the step correct one so that we can just test it using the handbook, because yeah, let's do it. Because everybody has access to that, we can ask question from the document. Yeah, so we can do another test. I can just copy this same prompt which I gave it, and let's see this time around whether able to answer this question right. Our file, you can see I didn't mention anything to do with ISEC. You can see it will be able to highlight the document is titled handbook outline the details of upcoming hackathon organized by Hamley in partnership with ISEC in Moi University. Here's a summary of the key points. We can see the event theme, duration and format. Training week, you can see this week, week 3, which is Azure AI Foundry, and the other weeks, which majority of you attended the sessions. So like you can see the power of agentic AI. So what I can do, since I do not want it to read any information from the internet, I can write some instructions here to limit it to solely use this particular document. But before that, I want us to do a test and ask the same question I ask over here. Who is the content? is the current president of USA. So I just want to show you that I want to show the importance of prompt engineering or having correct instructions for your agent. So right now we do not, it doesn't have any limitation. It says the document which I just uploaded at the same time is still uh, looking or searching information from the World Wide Web. So you can see it's still stating that it's Joe Biden. Now let's write an instruction and let's limit it to solely use this particular document, and let's see the result we'll be getting after adding an instruction. So we can say you are helpful assistant. So I give it your role. Your role is to help users retrieve information from the uploaded documents. So your role is to help users retrieve information from the uploaded documents. Now let's do the restriction part. Let me correct this. You must use uploaded documents. Then let me add, do not use publicly available information. So you can see I'm restricting, do not use the publicly available information. Then I can also add a question is asked at the document. Please make it clear to the user that the information could not be found. Yeah, so this is our simple prompt. So let's test this again. Let me copy the same question I asked it before we added some instruction and see what we are able to get this time on. Yes, this is what I was talking about. You can see what it's saying. I am sorry I didn't find information about the current president of USA in the uploaded document. However, as of my last training data, the current president is still Joe Biden. So my instruction is still surpassing my instruction. So what you can still do, it is good it has been able to tell us that this document, there is no information tied to the current president. You can still make the instruction more strict so that it doesn't look for any information outside the web. So that's why instructions are very key. So another thing which I would want to show before we finalize this particular call, I want us to see some of the autonomous pieces where we can tell our agent to send an email. So let's add that particular capability and see it in action. So I can go to actions. I can choose so I can I, the one for send email using Outlook. So I can give it a name, send email. Then let me use underscore. So let me just use the same. Send emails to Okay, so it will be sending emails to the specified email address. So we can do that subscription. Let that remain as default. So we can go next. Then let me connect it to my Outlook so that it uses my account to send that email. So this one is the autonomy piece where it's able to do things with you being in the loop. So let me choose. Yeah, so I can go to next. Let me accept the terms. Yeah, so the tool name is that. We can now go ahead and create. So we can add functionality to the instruction. So we can tell it to send email using this tool. I'm specifying the tool using send email tool. And you must send the last conversation to the specified email. So to the specified email, then I can even tell it format the email HTML to figure out that, do that. So let me ask it maybe write for me a short story. Then I want this particular story to be sent. Okay, I'll written in a wrong, but you'll be able to understand the context, be able to understand my intent. Yeah, so it has written a story. Let me tell it send to my email. Let me specify that. So send to my email this one here. So let me see whether it will be able to do that. Okay, it's telling me it's not able to do that. So let me specify use this particular tool, send email tool, and let's see whether it will be able to initiate. Okay, it's not able to do that. But basically, it has jammed, but it's still, we are going to look at this tomorrow. I'll be adding those particular capability of being able to send emails. So it's not right now, or I can try it and see whether it will work. But these are some of the autonomy pieces with the agentic AI or the agentic era, which right now. So later then we wind up because the time. So then we wait for tomorrow for. So if it doesn't respond, then I can still showcase this tomorrow and ensure that working and you see the action what we can be able to. So let me ask the same. So let's see whether it will still tell us same story. Yeah, you can see it's calling the logic. Let's see whether it will to send that. Yeah, it's telling me it has sent an email. So let me confirm what it has sent right now. A moment, I open the Gmail account. It's almost just a second. Yeah, I can see it has appeared here. Let me open it and share it right here. You can see the story that has been sent to me. But sorry, and it has HTML. You can see. So it's a good stuff. You can see the autonomy piece which I was talking about. So with the AI Foundry, we can do a lot. With the AI Foundry, we can do numerous stuff. So this is just the beginning doing much together. So stay tuned for tomorrow's call. So that's all I had for today's call. So see you tomorrow. Well, anything you'd want me to clarify, you are much welcome to air that particular question in the chat. Okay, so since there is no question, so I must thank everybody who has found time to join the particular call, and it was good showing this, and I appreciate your presence. It really means a lot, and stay tuned for tomorrow. And yeah, so good evening to everybody, and have a great evening.